What's going on, boys? It's Hunter, and welcome back to Point C. We're trying something new here today. We're actually going to be doing a series where I just kind of sit down and talk with you guys, because let's face it, life gets hard sometimes, and sometimes you just need to sit down and say to yourself, you know what? I'm not a piece of shit. I'm doing amazing. I mean, let's face it, you're not doing smack on the side of I-95 right now. Anyways, to start out the series, I thought that it would be fitting that we start off by talking about motivation. What is motivation and what creates motivation? So I guess no place better to start than is to go back to the start of Point C. It's crazy to think, but Point C has started 3 years ago in August. That's crazy to think about. Point C started as a group channel, including myself, Noah or Nagic, and a handful of our friends that have come and gone throughout the years on this channel. And starting originally, this whole YouTube channel was created in iMovie on 2 shitty MacBooks that were too old to even get updates anymore. And it's crazy to think that if you told a 16-year-old that was making videos about making fun of Pokimane that he would be editing on 2 4K monitors in Premiere Pro, he would tell you you're crazy. He would also tell you you're crazy if you told him that you had no motivation. But the matter of the fact is that for a long time, there was a lack of motivation on my part for this channel. I felt lost. I felt confused. And a lot of that has to do with a few things that happened in my life. That has to do with the fact that I had spent a long time working on this channel throughout high school, finishing up high school strong, getting into college, going to college, having a partner, and also just balancing work, being able to pay for that out-of-state school. So a lot of that kind of came together to kind of create this stress in this environment where I lost motivation for a while, as well as I originally had an idea for the channel that didn't come to fruition, where I was going to kind of make OTK-style content, and that sadly never happened. That wasn't until recently, which was until I read 2 books recently, which were Make Your Bed, Small Things Can Change Your Life by William McRaven, along with 12 Rules for a Successful Life by Jordan Peterson. And let me just be clear, this is not me supporting Jordan Peterson's political views, specifically his views on abortion. However, I think that both of these books kind of teach a lot, and they cover really good topics that I think that a lot of people need to hear. And even as the title suggests, as stupid as shit it sounds, make your bed. It's really a basic concept, but a lot of people don't do every day. And let me tell you, it just really kind of changes your perspective on the day, and a lot of times can really lift your spirit. It's literally the first thing he says in the book. The first sentence is make your bed. And when I first read that, I thought that it was kind of crazy, but the more I read on, it kind of made sense. So William McRaven is actually a Marine, and he gives this speech a lot about making your bed and motivation. And what's really interesting about it is just trying to make your bed in the morning really does make an impact on your life. And the whole kind of idea of this book is this idea of the small things really kind of changing your mood and changing your life, as the title suggests. For example, making your bed has more than a deeper meaning than simply making your bed, obviously. What he means by the small things is doing small things such as making your bed, doing your dishes, wiping down the counters. All those small things add up in a jar, and that jar is your motivation. And when you add to that jar, your brain wants to do things. Oddly enough, your brain is a very fascinating living thing that wants motivation and wants tasks to be done. So when you do these small things like make your bed, you want to conquer the day. You don't want to lay in bed all day. Let me tell you, as somebody that's been depressed and has had no motivation, at the time it feels amazing to lay in bed in basketball shorts, jerking off, playing fucking, My Little Pony Adventure. You do these things and you get dopamine, right? And you think that you're feeling great. In the moment you feel amazing, until later on in the day and you feel like shit and you don't really feel like doing anything. You can't get simple things done like doing your laundry or even just wanting to get up and go outside. But just starting your day with these small tasks, such as just making your bed. When you make your bed, you just feel this incredible feeling of motivation. And you can kind of take that as a small win to start out your day with and to think, you've done nothing really. I mean, you've spent 3 minutes just tossing the blanket over your bed, fixing your pillows, maybe moving your fucking J-Schlatt fucking jerk-off tool, right? Done these small things that add up to this jar. And we're going to get to that jar in a bit. And one of the first rules that Jordan Peterson talks about is cleaning your room, which also kind of brings that same mentality, except it's a bit more work, but we're going to talk about that a bit too. Making that bed is kind of like the first step to kind of making yourself feel better. There's more steps beyond that, like exercise, dieting, meal prep, all these things, healthy relationships and doing things outside of your room. But Jordan Peterson talks about the idea of cleaning your room and specifically cleaning your room until the point that it feels, you can pick up the Dorito bags and, the soda cans. You're going to feel, you're going to feel good. It's clean. It looks nice. And you're going to feel more secure. However, when you keep doing that, you keep organizing, you keep cleaning, and everything has a little place. There's nothing wrong with this room. There's nothing on the floor. You've vacuumed, you've cleaned, you've done all these things, right? You have a clean room. Everything is organized. Your brain processes things differently, and it's going to see this room as a place to get things done. It's going to see it as a motivating place. And as Jordan Peterson says exactly, when you step into that room, you want to get things done. Your brain associates that with getting tasks done. And for some of us, that's a realistic task, especially if you're like me, where a lot of your career is editing and kind of like you are your own boss. You motivate yourself and you can't expect other people to motivate you. And that's where this jar comes in. So we can be motivated. Somebody can kick us in the ass. We can listen to fucking Jordan Peterson tell us all day that we need to get up and clean our room. But just because we clean our room does not mean that we're going to continue to clean that room, right? We need to use what we just learned to build upon and to create a foundation. What is this called? We call that drive. Drive is a little different than motivation. Motivation is the temporary feeling, excitement, overwhelmingness of happiness, this short dopamine response that we receive as a positive feedback loop. However, what happens when we don't have that feedback loop? Somebody takes away that feedback loop, somebody puts us down, whatever. That's where that jar comes in handy. See, drive, like I said, is the idea that you have no motivation, but you can pull from that jar. You can pull from that jar to create something and to actually have the motivation that you need. But we're not calling it motivation, we're calling it drive because it's different. So how do we get this drive? When you fill up that jar every single day by simply, maybe you decide to clean your room, do your dishes, or just fold your laundry. We have a few simple tasks that we have completed. We have filled that jar. We're going to use that jar constantly, but if we don't keep filling it up, we're going to empty out quick. It's almost like a gas tank, right? You can fill it up once. Sure, you're going to get quite a far ways through New York. You're not going to be able to drive through New York without filling up more than once. You're going to run out of steam. And you're going to want to quit. So how do we fill this up? Well, you keep giving yourself those small tasks and you build up. Day one, it's making your bed. Day two, it's making your bed and maybe organizing. You build up those tasks and you slowly build upon that foundation like we were talking about earlier. You start out from a small base. Let's say this base is literally nothing. Your base is just, I want to do better. I want to improve. I want to be a new person. So we take that basic principle and we build upon that day by day. We add new tasks. We add new variants to this task. We don't simply just wake up, make our bed, and take a shower. Now we wake up, make our bed, take a shower, then we go to the gym. We have these small things every single day to continue to fill that jar. And I'm not saying that you need to be somebody that's has a completely 24-hour full schedule. No. You simply need to be able to fill your days with some type of fulfillment, right? And that fulfillment can be different from everybody. I just mentioned the gym. Some people it's completing art. Some people it's cleaning. Some people it's cooking, right? Some people it's playing a sport. You're doing something that makes you happy that doesn't drain that jar. What are some things that drain that jar? It's things like drugs, alcohol, even video games, right? Video games are a very positive thing. It'd be very ironic of me to say that they aren't. If you sit around all day in basketball shorts playing fucking Doom all day, you're going to hate your life. You're going to quickly feel drained. You're not going to feel happy. You're not going to have that motivation to get up and do things like we already mentioned, right? So once again, you just need to simply be able to get up and do things. This isn't going to be a perfect method, right? There's going to be days where you wake up and you don't make that bed because you're not feeling like it, There's days where it's tough for everybody. Just because you have one fail does not mean that you're a loser. That doesn't mean that you give up and you go back to square one and you be like, oh, the world hates me. I was given the short end of the stick because I don't have this motivation. No, you have the motivation. You need to get up and you need to use that motivation. You need to be able to use your tools to wake up and start your day off right. And of course, there's always going to be issues like chemical imbalancing, and that's a completely different, separate story. And that's a topic that you should be having with your medical professional and not myself with some fucking idiot 19-year-old on the internet. But at the end of the day, it's really just kind of comes down to the idea of, am I able to start my day off right? Am I able to say, fuck it, I'm not going to have that coffee. I'm not going to have that nicotine. I'm not going to have these negative behaviors in my life. I'm going to get up. I'm going to make that bed. Just try it one time. That's what I'm going to challenge you. Wake up one day, either that's tomorrow or next week. Just try it one day. Wake up, make your bed, and see how you feel. Most likely, you're going to have a positive outlook on life. You're going to have this positive sort of reinforcement. And you're going to feel that, right? And that's kind of something that McRaven talks about. He gives a speech to Marines and and people in the Air Force and things like that, where these people are, they're forced to make their bed every day. But there's partially a reason for that. That's partially control and kind of like this kind of like, look at the power that we have over you. But it's also this idea of start your day off right. It's trying to give them that motivation to continue on. Because let's fucking face it, man, being a Marine is hard work. Nobody's going to tell you it's easy, right? And especially I'm not going to tell you, my cousin is a Marine and he will tell you first and foremost, it's not easy. Some days you're going to want to wake up and you're going to be like, I want to leave, man. I want to go home. I want to be in my AC and I want to be able to play Call of Duty. But you have to tell yourself that you got to keep pushing. You're here for a reason. You're here to defend your country. You're here to protect the people that you love. Obviously not everybody is going to have the same type of story. Not everybody is going to be a Marine. Obviously, probably 99% of the people listening to this have no aspirations of being in the military in any form of the shape of the word. And that's more than understandable. How do we shape that into our everyday lives? And that's kind of just where that small bit of motivation comes to just slightly start your day off in a better way. Get yourself in shape and just kind of become a better person. Anyways, that's been it for this first episode. This is going to be a new weekly series. I don't really have a name for it yet. I don't know if I want to call it Life Advice with Hunter. I don't know what we're going to call this, but every single week we're going to kind of talk about a different topic, whether if that's financial, investing, whatever, dieting, whatever, man. We're just going to kind of chill out and kind of chill and chat and kind of try to help you guys navigate through life. I understand that a lot of you are younger than I am, and life can be tough. Nobody's going to lie to you and tell you that life's easy, right? Your parents have probably told you this. I'm going to tell you this throughout the series, but I just kind of want to give everybody a chance to kind of, learn and adapt, and don't be afraid to ask questions. If anybody has any topics that they really are dying to hear about, or they have questions, don't be afraid to reach out to my email at hunterwarner217@gmail.com. Or you can also leave a comment down below, and I will make sure that we talk about your topic at some point. It's been a great time, everybody. Love you all so much, and I'm glad that Point C is coming back. Peace.